Hello, this is Grandmaster Jerry Fasty Fontenez with another episode of Anime Power Talk, Sport Karate Illustrated at the Dojine, where you learn things that actually work. Hey, we going down all around the world. This gentleman was not just a point fighter, but also was able to become not a full contact fighter, but a world champion who was actually trained by another world champion who I believe won his title, who at least fought in Japan. So when it's all said and done, some people have been able to transcend at different levels of martial arts skills, and this gentleman absolutely has been a true example of that. Without further ado, I'm not sure if this is the proper title, but we will address him, at least for now, as Master Jeff Gripper. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. Jerry, how are you doing today?
I'm blessed. Thank God I'm alive, and I'm excited because we get a chance to finally do this and record it for other people to benefit for the rest of forever. So thank you.
I'm honored to be here.
Well, this is, again, it's going to be, it depends. It's going to be either historical if it's a guy or historical if it's a lady. You're going to get a chance to listen to this. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning. What was either your inspiration, your desperation, or your motivation to start in the martial arts? Maybe when you initially got interested in it and when you get a chance to really have a chance to participate in it. Now, if you don't hear me, it's because I put myself on mute because you have the mic, sir. Take it away.
Well, it started while I was in the Marine Corps. I was stationed on Guam. I was stationed there for 15 months, and the first 8 months I met a Guamanian, and he and I became really, really good friends, and we did a lot of motorcycle riding, trail riding, and running up hills and mountains, and then after that I started to go to the movies, and I saw a Bruce Lee movie, and then I started going every week to the movies. And when I got back to the United States, that was the first thing I did was find me a karate studio that was right out of the base at Camp Lejeune. Well, really, it's Camp Geiger. Camp Geiger is in North Carolina, right near Camp Lejeune, and there was a karate studio maybe a mile from the base, and I went in there. And I started training, and I became hooked. I kind of remember it was a Japanese style called Shaolin Techukenryu, and I got my first belt. It was an orange belt, and a group of us had started because we knew we were going on a 6-month Mediterranean cruise and do something while we were on a ship. But it turned out that I was the only one that stuck with it. Out of the 4 guys that went to the karate studio, I was the only one that got my first promotion. Once we got on the ship, I ran into a Navy guy. His name was Rick Greiger. He was a 3rd degree black belt in a martial arts style that had karate, judo, and jiu-jitsu all together. And he took me under his wing, and for 6 months, that's all I did was, study on a flight deck with him, learning the martial arts. And he was really into the spiritual side and using your inner power and using your ki. And at first it was a little, at first I didn't understand it, but it really opened my mind to martial arts wasn't just a physical activity. It was a mental and even more so a spiritual discipline. And it just took me over, and it was one of the best things I could have done for myself.
Wonderful. So now let me just so we can get some type of timeline here, what year are we looking at?
Okay, let me see. So I went into the Marines right out of high school in 1979, And my bad. I graduated out of high school in 1971, and I joined the Marines. It was 3 of us went together, and I think I went on this cruise in 1973, and it was for 6 months. And like I say, when I got back in 1973, I went back to my karate studio outside the base, and they promoted me to my green belt right away. And then I started in 1973 as a green belt. There was a great number of karate tournaments on the weekends in Washington, D.C., in South Carolina, and that's what I did. I just started traveling up and down the East Coast, fighting in karate tournaments on the weekends after I left off base in the Marine Corps.
Now, what state were you in originally?
When I was in the service.
Actually, where were you born? I know in the service it seems like you said you was in North Carolina and then you went to Guam, but I mean.
I was born in Columbia, South Carolina. And,
okay, South Carolina.
Yeah, but I moved a lot because I moved from South Carolina to Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn?
Yeah,
oh,
I moved to Brooklyn. The Bedford-Stuyvesant area. I think I was in the. I hadn't even started going to school yet. But I think I was 3 when I left South Carolina, and I stayed in Brooklyn until I was in the first grade. And then I went upstate New York and in Catskills. I stayed there until I was in the 4th grade. And then I came back to Hartford, Connecticut. And from the 4th grade till I graduated from Hartford, Connecticut at a school called Weaver High School. I went into the Marine Corps in Hartford, Connecticut, and that started my journey on, touring the world and understanding the martial arts and seeing other cultures and other ways of life, and realizing that the Marine Corps actually opened my mind to another way of thinking, and realizing that I can't just be thinking about myself. There are so many people out there. And one thing that I learned, the major thing that I learned, how lucky we are in the United States, how lucky, how blessed
Amen.
we are. We have it so good compared to some of the places that I've gone.
We mean we have running water, huh? And we can actually flush a toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, those of you listening to the legendary, not to say that he's been missing in action, but obviously in the karate world, we transcend into other areas. I believe that, now in martial arts, did you ever get an opportunity to be an instructor also, or were you just a participant?
No. When I was a brown belt, that's when that was right before I met Tony Lopez. My karate coach in the Shaolin Ju Techikan Ryu style, he had to move, and he gave me the karate studio, and I was a brown belt. I was I think a first-degree brown belt, and I started teaching right there in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It was, that's where the Marines came when they got off the base. There was a whole bunch of bars, and you name it, was downtown. And I ran this karate studio. And even though I was a brown belt, I still had the great skills. And I remember